Time to wake up. It's Saturday morning. Find some milk and cereal. Grab a bowl and spoon. No, a bigger spoon. Head to the living room and take a seat on the floor while Joseph and Chris present to you Saturday Morning Cartoon!
Hello everybody, welcome to Saturday Morning Cartoon Boom! This is a show where we wake up the Saturday morning sun, plop down on the floor with a big bowl of sugar cereal, and we'll enjoy favorite cartoons, both old and new. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
And this morning we watched Dogtanian and the Three Muskehounds. Hey Chris.
What?
So they weren't even called Muskehounds in the show. They were still Musketeers.
I noticed.
So it's like the title was basically like, hey, we're dogs, and in case you didn't catch it the first time, we're still dogs.
Yeah, they're like, get it, but like, we're just gonna go ahead and run with the regular name, and like, don't worry about it. It's pretty much like what happened. Yeah,
Dogtanian and the three dogs that are musketeers, that are muskehounds, that are also dogs. Hey, remember they're dogs.
Dogtanian and three friends that happen to be dogs and musketeers, and don't call them anything different.
But this is one of those worlds that it's primarily anthropomorphic, just animals, but also they have the lower class animals like horses that are still just horses. And I always feel sorry for animals like that.
It brings up a lot of questions for me. I'm just, it's things like that just make it all so much more confusing. Is it like an animal caste system? What? I don't know.
But would the alternative be having humans that were domesticated and just riding on the backs of humans?
I want to see that. It's going to creep me out. I just want to see it happen.
I feel like worse.
So much worse, but I just want to see it happen. You know,
it needs to. I mean, I guess they just need something to carry them around, and human or not, you know, these poor horses. I felt bad for them because it wasn't just dogs, dog people. There was mostly cats. Dogs, but there were cat people. There were also bird people.
Yeah,
all walks of life, except horses were not horse people. I guess it would have freaked me out more if there were horse people too. That'd be very Disney, where it's like Goofy is a dog man, but Mickey owns a dog who is not a dog man, just a dog.
I just want to bring up, because we were talking about, like, you know, how creepy it would be if, like, there was like they were riding humans like horses. Have you seen those videos of the girl that gallops and jumps like a horse?
I want to say I have. How old are they? Because it sounds familiar.
Not too old, I don't think. I mean, I feel like...
So is she thinking like she is a horse?
She doesn't think she is. She just likes to move like a horse.
Oh, you know what? Yeah. I have seen that video.
Yeah, if you guys want to have nightmares, go to YouTube and just Google search horse girl and you'll find it. And I do recommend watching the video that's Aussie Man reviewing it, because that's really funny. But yeah, search horse girl.
Is that worse? We are way off track, but I have to do one more thing. Is that worse than grown men, middle-aged men who act like babies? Like who literally like wear diapers and suck on pacifiers and stuff? Is that worse?
No, I don't think there's anything worse than that. Like
you've reached the bottom of the barrel with that one.
Yeah, well, the horse girl will make you physically cringe. Like the other one, like the men in diapers, makes your life, like your whole existence cringes. You know?
Yeah.
Like it just it makes you question whether you want to live in this reality anymore. So
it's like, why are humans? Just why?
Yeah. Why is this happening? So this was brought to us by Andrew Gordon via YouTube. So thank you, Andrew, for adding that to our list.
Yes, thank you, Andrew.
Just FYI, this was at the very bottom of the list.
It was.
So everyone voted it way down. But, you know, I'm starting to get a sneaking suspicion that people are figuring out and they're playing the game. So some people, when they notice that the cartoon they want isn't going to be near making the top, maybe they all get their friends to downvote. I don't know. But there's so many votes. So
that's a possibility, because I didn't think this show was that bad. And I kind of liked it, honestly.
You would like it.
I take it you didn't, but we'll talk about it. So the show Dogtanian and the Three Muskehounds aired from 81 to 82. Created by Claudio Bjorn Boyd, developed by Tom Weiner, who was also the narrator that we hear, Produced by BRB International and Nippon Animation, ran from 1 season, 26 episodes on the TVE network in Spain and MBS network in Japan. For source synopsis, written by Mark A. Wood, in 17th century France, young Dogtanian travels to Paris to fulfill his ambitions to become one of the king's musketeers. That's all I'll talk about right now.
Yeah.
Because we'll go into the rest.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about it anymore, right? That's the whole show.
That's the episode. It's over.
Bye.
So who are some of the actors who played in this show?
The
Before you say anything, all I wanted to say was the main voice actor who played Dogtanian, at least in the English version, I knew that voice right away because of the whininess to it.
Okay.
And maybe it's because we've done so many episodes of this that we talk about voice actors all the time and you can kind of like call them. But I knew who it was immediately.
And were you right? Did you check to
I
see if you were
was,
correct?
yeah. I did. It was Cam Clark.
Cam Clark.
The same guy who plays Leonardo in the Ninja Turtles cartoon, the original one.
Yes.
Because it sounded like Leonardo, just with a slightly higher pitched voice. And that's how I was able to place it.
No, you're right. And if you listen to a lot of stuff Cam Clark does, there's just something about it. There's something in the way that he speaks that you can always tell it's him. Because he also did some like He-Man stuff where he voiced, he did different voices for both, Prince Adam and He-Man. And, some of the other stuff that he's done, you can always tell that it's him. It's just something about it. It's kind of like, he's like the male equivalent of like Kath Soucie. You can always tell that it's her. So anyway, well, good job. Good on you, sir. So as you said, the voice of Dogtanian was Cam Clark. And I'm not going to go into what everybody else has done in the past, but I will tell you that everyone else on this list has done a ton of voices for any monster you have ever seen in any Power Rangers show. These guys voice them all. They also voice most of Digimon, and they also each voice a character in some Street Fighter cartoons. So there you go. The character of Count Rochefort. Is that how you pronounce it?
I think it was like Rochefort. Like they didn't pronounce the T at the end.
Okay. So the voice of Count Rochefort was Dave Mallow. The voice of Milady. Did they really not give her a regular name? They just call her Milady?
Well, they called her Milady, but she was like
Cat lady.
Countess Winter something.
Yeah,
I wrote it down.
I thought that too, but like she's always just credited everywhere as Milady. Which
every
is
time
weird.
the narrator talks about her, it's like, and Milady is doing something sneaky.
Yeah. So Milady, sneaky Catwoman, was voiced by Edie Merman. Whittemore was voiced by Mike Reynolds. Aramis voiced by Eddie Frierson. Athos voiced by Michael Sorich. Porthos voiced by Daniel Warren. Pip, good God, Pip, Jesus. Voiced by Steve Kramer, and then Juliet, voiced by Rebecca Forstead. So those are your main characters. Oh, God, Pit the rat.
If there was anything that I didn't like about this show, that would be one of the main things because, we only saw him in one episode, but he did the most annoying thing possible. He was annoying. Okay, so you know how like when someone's annoying the other characters on the show? Yes. It's like he did that, but it went on for so long. I was ready for it to end after like 5 seconds, but it went on for at least 30. And it's like, oh, please stop. I get what you're trying to do, but you're overdoing it.
Yes, they did not know how to, like, they didn't know when enough was enough. They went way too far.
Yeah, I got the chills just thinking about it. Never again.
Yeah.
But for a few tasty marshmallows out of our big bowl of Dogtanian cereal, this is a Spanish-Japanese animated adaptation of the classic Alexander Dumas story of D'Artagnan and the Three Musketeers, of course. And they pretty much do it, not shot for shot, but a lot of it is like directly adapted from those stories. Like in no way do they say like, oh, you're a bird. Oh, you're a dog. Like they could, if you didn't have any visuals to it, they could all be humans and you wouldn't know any difference.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then a key difference between the Dogtanian animation and the Dumas novel is that the character traits of Athos and Porthos were interchanged, making Athos the extrovert and Porthos the secretive noble of the group. So I don't know why they made that change, but that was one of the big differences.
Yeah, I was just going to think, like, what's the point in doing that?
No, I don't know why that's even pointed out as a key difference, but I guess it is. In 1989, The Return of Dogtanian was released by BRB International, Thames Television, and Wang Film Productions. It picks up 10 years after the original story ends. So it does have a sequel cartoon that also ran for 26 episodes in 89.
And I do know in that one, Cam Clark doesn't voice Dogtanian anymore, but one of the other cast members actually takes over. And I think it's Dave Mallow, but I don't remember exactly off the top of my head.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
It makes sense, though, because if he's getting older, because it's 10 years later, then you'd probably want to use an older voice. I mean, I'm sure Cam Clark could have done it, but, whatever. Maybe they got sick of him.
He was probably busy doing Ninja Turtles at the time, if it was in 89.
That's a good point. I bet that is what happened.
So later in 95, a TV movie was made of the second series entitled One for All and All for One, with completely different voice actors and a few name changes from the original series.
Why change the names?
I don't know. But then to top it all off, according to their main website, BRB International was planning a new CGI movie to be released in 2016, but it has been delayed for unknown reasons. In April 2019, which is very recently, it was announced that Apollo Films has since taken over production of the film. So we could still see a CGI Dogtanian in our lifetime for whatever reason.
Is that going to be one of those movies that goes straight to the theater that nobody heard about it? They only find out it's there when they're physically in the movie theater seeing the posters of a dog wearing one of those musketeer hats.
No, it'll be one of those stand-ups that has a hole where the face is with it'll be a dog's body with the musketeer hat on. People will be taking pictures with it, but they'll have no idea what it is or why.
Yeah, they won't know that it's there. And yeah, nobody's going to want to watch it.
So if we do see that, though, I encourage anyone listening to this to please take your picture in that thing and send it to us. If they do make a stand-up, I want to see this happen because you'll be one of the only people who knows what it is.
I mean, I think you and I are going to have to do it now, too. So
if we find it, absolutely. I would love to.
We will.
So that was all I had marshmallow-wise. Had you ever heard of this show before?
No, I had no idea this was a thing until it was on our list.
Yeah, me neither. And even looking for it on IMDb was difficult because it's only listed on IMDb under its Spanish title.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and then on Wikipedia, I was able to find it fine, but it was really strange trying to find information on it because I'm trying to think of another show. We've done other shows that had a similar thing where they were only Japanese or only Spanish first or something. I think was the city of
The Mysterious Cities of Gold.
Was that Spanish? I think that was no.
Yeah, I think that was a Spanish Japanese cartoon also, which is just it's a really weird mix of studios, I feel, to make those kind of shows. But Mysterious Cities of Gold was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah, we did really like that one. So yeah, I hadn't heard of it either, but let's go and jump into the episodes for today's show. The very first episode, highest rated episode, or finally a random listener chosen episode. Order may vary depending on how these episodes fall chronologically, but of course we have to start with the very first episode, which was Dogtanian's Journey, Season 1, Episode 1, where Dogtanian is fighting his rival, Francois Lavache, son of the mayor, with wooden swords and beats him easily. There's more to it, but this is just going through the entire thing. I'm not going to do that. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, we start in the year 1625.
Oh, whoa. Wait a minute, though. We cannot ignore the fact that this might be the worst intro song ever. It was so obnoxious and it went on so long. Guys, every episode you get this same intro song. It is a minute 45, bro.
I was just about to say
so much.
When we both look at the time an intro took, that's when you know that it went on for too long. It didn't a minute 45 isn't that long as far as intros go, but it felt so long because it's repeating the same lyrics over and over again. And then it has it doesn't say woof, 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 but it's got the sound bites behind it sound like it's trying to make a woofing noise. It's really annoying.
It sounds like children trying to sing the song as if they were dogs. That's...
Yes.
I think that's the direction they were given. And then they were also told, hey, make it as long and as annoying as you possibly can, because that's what we're going for.
Yeah, intro, not great. You will have heard a snippet of it, and that's all you need to hear at the beginning of this episode. Year 1625, you start with Dogtanian dueling with Francois. they're making Francois starts making fun of him because he's got patches on his garments or whatever. So he's not a nobleman like Francois is because he's the mayor's son. Like he comes from like a less well-to-do family. And so he's getting made fun of for that. And as they're dueling, Dogtanian is getting the upper hand. And this musketeer rides by on his horse and starts complimenting him and is like, hey, that's great. Then he's surprised when Dogtanian has heard of him. And then he's like, all right, well, that's nice. I got to go. And just kind of runs off. And so everyone's so excited to go see. Oh, he says he's going to see like the most noble person in the city or something. And so people are assuming that he's talking about the mayor, and Francois is excited because, you know, he's going to see his dad. And so they're all going to try and watch this musketeer like approach his house.
And like, so he goes and shows up at Dogtanian's house to talk to Dogtanian's father. And am I wrong in that we never really find out what it's about? Because it's like, I mean, obviously, like they knew each other. We find out that basically Dogtanian's dad used to be a musketeer, basically, you know, like the French equivalent of like the King's Guard. That's basically what he was.
Right. Royal Guard. Yep.
But why was the guy even there?
My feeling was, and you know, I don't know the Three Musketeers story. If I were a more educated man, maybe I would. But I'm assuming it's a call to action or a call to arms in case he is needed or something to that effect because of a potential like oncoming or just potential danger that might be facing the king or something of the sort. So it's got to be something like that, right?
I think so. I don't know. But I feel like his dad was kind of like, no, thanks. Like, nah.
Y'all got this.
It's not like he got anything together. He didn't leave. He didn't whip out his sword or anything. Like the musketeer just kind of leaves and like life's just sort of going on per what seems like the usual for them.
That's true. The musketeer doesn't seem bothered by it either. He's like, all right, I respect your wishes, and just kind of rides off.
Just kind of like, you know, I knew you would say no. I almost didn't even bother coming, but it's like, I just want to see what you're up to at least. Check in.
Yeah.
It's like one of those
call.
things.
We don't have phones yet, so hey, here I am.
That's why Dogtanian, like, so the musketeer thought Dogtanian was the servant and not the dude's son. So
that's when he screams at him. He's just like, "No, I'm
so
not
mad.
a servant."
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh,
who cares?"
He's like, "Great, you should come to Paris sometime." He's like, "Man, I hope he meant it."
I hope he really does want me to go to Paris sometime. Man.
Yeah.
That was weird. It was a weird exchange.
It was. I mean, obviously, like it wasn't made in English originally, so a lot of this is probably going to be just a weird translation or something.
Yeah, there's always weird translation. You know, this is speaking of, Rochelle and I have been watching Neon Genesis Evangelion because we've never seen it before. So we started watching it, and we are doing sub and dub at the same time, which is interesting. Well, for one, so I don't always have to read what I'm trying to watch, so I can like eat some food or something, you know, and listen and stuff. But also we can see the sub at the bottom. And what's really funny is seeing the difference between how it exactly translates and what they say. It's almost always different, and it cracks me up.
I had never seen it either, and I recently started watching it. I think I'm on episode like 20.
Oh, nice.
Or something like that. Yeah.
That's interesting. We both started doing it at the same time. We're on like 12, I think.
Oh, okay. Man, it's really good, but I've just been watching it subbed because if I have the choice, I'll usually go that direction. But I get what you mean. Like if I'm eating something, I have to be like looking up at the screen while I'm shoving stuff in my mouth.
Yeah, I don't have time to read while I'm stuffing my face. I need to be able to visually see and hear what's happening. But it's interesting seeing both. But yeah, like, and it helps to show that the translations that you see with the subs don't quite work sometimes. So yeah,
and it also depends on if they're like if it's dubbed for like PG versus
exactly,
you know, like an adult audience, like some of the language would probably be. And I know there's a lot of mention of beer in this, so I don't know if they changed that in the English dub or not.
Well, it's kind of funny. They definitely didn't. What's kind of funny is the dub is actually a little bit more like less PG in some ways.
Oh, really?
Honestly. Yeah, it's
okay.
very odd. It's very odd. But that's that show. This show, yes, there's some weird things going on. So the mayor's wife, who is Francois' mother, shows up and is like all mad because she's just like, your son beat on my kid again, and like this has to stop. She's very snooty, and she's accompanied by Francois' tutor or whatever, who also keeps talking about how Dogtanian's such a bad influence. But in reality, it's like Dogtanian gets picked on by these other kids and he just doesn't stand for it. Like
He's just defending himself.
Yeah, he gets picked on, so he challenges them like, oh, you want to pick on me? All right, let's fight. Let's fight it out. So that's interesting, and I like that. But I did like the line that when Dogtanian's mother is talking to his dad, and she's like, we shouldn't teach our children to kill each other. I'm like, that's a real good, rule of thumb to live by.
And his response was just like, I'm not teaching him to kill. I'm teaching him to protect himself and his country, which is, it makes sense from where his father comes from.
Yes. So from that point, they're the Francois and the other kids are like, we're gonna get our revenge. They set all these traps and stuff for him and challenge him to fight again. They're digging holes in the ground, they're tying grass so that it would trip him, all kinds of stuff. All the other kids are hiding in the bushes with sticks because they're gonna jump him and beat him. But Dogtanian sees him setting it up and he outsmarts him, and it was pretty interesting the way he did it.
He's a trickster and a coward.
Yeah, what that line, I was like, come on. Because
you're the one who set up all these traps and was going to jump him with 5 different people.
Right, exactly. He took his father's old armor and used it like a puppet. He was hiding in the trees, and they thought he was inside of it.
And they're still they're trying to beat it down like crazy. There are so many times where I feel like Dogtanian's life is in danger.
his life sucks. I'm just going to say, every
single episode, ends with him in an unfortunate situation.
Yeah, something terrible keeps happening to him, every time. His life is horrible. But I did like how they did that. And he jumped out of the tree, bopped Francois on the head again, gave him a big lump. The other kids eventually ran away from him. But his dad was not impressed and was just like, you're an idiot, basically, and was like, I'm going to teach you how to really fight. Because his dad's angry with Dogtanian because he treats fighting and everything and using his little wooden sword. He doesn't respect the sword, and he doesn't respect the skill that he has. So he's just kind of swords aren't a toy, and he gives him a real sword. And though it's blunted, but it's a real sword. And he's like, if you're not careful, you could hurt yourself or die. They have a duel, and dude, he was legit scared his dad was trying to hurt him. And what was weird to me is I feel Dogtanian mostly kind of held his own, but I feel like he just pretty much got beat down pretty good from his dad. But his dad in his head's thinking is oh, he almost beat me. That's crazy.
Yeah, but his dad has one slash across his his tunic or something.
That is true. Yes.
Yeah. So he did get some hits on him, but it was his dad was thinking man, even without proper training with a real sword or whatever, he still almost beat me. So he doesn't know the potential or the power that he has. Yeah. So that's when they decide, or his father decides, I guess, to send him off to Paris to train with Treville, who was one of his old friends in the Musketeers, as part of the Musketeers. And so
Monsieur Treville,
basically sending him off to use his sword in defense of king and country. And they give him Sandy the horse, which is this gross yellow horse.
It's just,
it's kind of, I at first thought it was a donkey, but I guess it is a horse in this world.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a horse, but they do use donkey sound effects with it, which is strange.
Yeah.
And this horse is on its last legs, man. It looks near death.
It looks bad. Very sad all the time. I don't know if it's pleased to be his partner at all, but it's just kind of just hanging in there.
This horse is suffering from some straight up depression. Honestly, it's bad.
What I did kind of like about the end of it though was all the other kids coming to see him off.
I did like that.
And then the one kid's like, "Hey, it was your idea, Francois," and he's like, "Shut up! No, it wasn't."
Yeah.
And so Francois, the one who was his enemy, was the one who gathered all these other kids up to come see him off and say goodbye.
He's actually gonna miss him.
Yeah, and then he's crying as he rides off, which is kind of, it's sad, but it's cool. Like he's starting a new chapter in his life.
Yeah, I just like the idea that even though they were kind of enemies or rivals or what have it, like there was some amount of respect there. Like even though Francois did a lot of like disrespectful things, like deep down, it may have been that he bullied him because he was jealous of him, and he even says that as Dogtanian's leaving that he hopes he'll come back and visit. So I thought that was pretty cool, man. I didn't expect that to happen. I expected like, one last joke at somebody's expense, like Francois or something, but that was cool. I was wondering though, like if Dogtanian is, he's wearing patches on his clothes and stuff like that, but when he gets sent to Paris, he's wearing straight up like some straight musketeer looking stuff. And it's really nice. And he's got the feathered hat. And I'm like, where was that? Like if they had money, like why was he wearing patches under his, like on his shorts earlier?
Well, it looked like, before he was leaving, you see his mom kind of dressing him up and stuff. So maybe it's just something they got him as a goodbye present.
Could be.
Just to go along with it. Well, and his dad gave him his old dueling sword as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a cool first episode, a nice send-off for him. And then we jump right from there into the second episode, the actual second episode of the show, which was Dogtanian meets the Black Moustache. And we're just going to talk about this one because it really branches directly off of the first one, where he's still on his way to Paris and he gets cut in front of by this really snobby, like, is he, I guess he's also kind of a dog, but he has like a black mustache, one of those thin black mustaches.
Yeah,
and he calls him.
Yeah, Dogtanian just refers to him as the Black Moustache.
Yeah, and he calls the guy calls him a country bumpkin, and that offends him so much. It offends his honor. That's something that Dogtanian is very like uptight about, is like, I guess, his honor and being insulted, and he demands an apology and like, basically, I challenge you to a duel for doing this thing.
Yeah, he just keeps going after the Black Moustache, with the threat of a duel. And what's funny too is like he just like the Black Moustache can't believe how angry this kid is. Like, are you serious? Like, it was a joke. Like, chill. And then he just kind of rides off, and Dogtanian's upset because Sandy is just such a almost dead horse that like she's so slow. So he's like really like smacking her and going, yeah. And I mean, he catches up for a split second, but eventually like Sandy's just tiring out and he's still going, yeah. And Sandy's just like, like her lungs are giving out. I'm pretty sure about to go into respiratory failure.
This was the highest rated episode too. I forgot to mention.
It was. Yeah.
Man, I felt real bad for Dogtanian in this episode. Everybody is against him in this episode. Even somebody who I thought was like going to side with them.
The innkeeper? Yeah, what the?
He still ends up screwing him over. And I'm like, dude, come on.
So many times. I did like, though, like there was a point I actually laughed out loud, which surprised me, which was when he just meets the random guy who's churning butter and is kind of like randomly talking to Dogtanian about Sandy, the horse and stuff. And it's just like this throwaway moment that has no meaning and it had no consequence or any part of the plot. But like as Dogtanian leaves, he's churning the butter and then he almost knocks the bucket over and he's like, whoa. And then it just cuts away to the next scene. And that made me laugh so hard. And they just did it for the fun of it. And I thought that was great.
It's just nothing. Yeah. I thought you were talking about where he's like, wow, that's a really unique horse. And Dogtanian's like,
well, that is funny
it's
too.
All right.
Yeah.
He's like, it's all right. But he's like, no, it's a special horse.
It's a special horse.
Okay, dude. All right, I'm going to leave. Thank you.
He was getting some like weird kink vibes from this guy. Like, okay, time to
I feel
go.
uncomfortable, sir.
Yeah. I can't talk to you anymore.
The pig guy directs him to an inn that's nearby, or the closest inn, which also happens to be, or where the Black Moustache also happens to be staying.
Yeah.
In a room right next to his. So we meet this nice innkeeper, and Dogtanian at one point like gives him a single gold. And this was reminding me of our D&D game. We're just like rich and just throwing gold around
gold
like crazy. Yeah, but he only has like a small satchel of gold that his parents gave him. And so he gives him a single gold, and I guess that's a ton of money to this guy because he's like, oh my gosh, like whatever you need, sir. Like, what can I do for you?
Well, he gives it to him like after he threatens him and also like cuts the lights down from the dude's
that's
ceiling.
Right. He cuts the chandelier
and immediately goes, "Oh, is it broken?" I'm like, dude, what do you think? You just cut it off of the freaking ceiling. Like,
yeah, he's just flailing his sword around.
Dogtanian's immediately just a jerk to this innkeep. Like, I kind of understand why the innkeep turns on him later. I mean,
no, but it was like the punishment did not meet the crime.
It definitely went too far. I'll give him that.
So the Black Moustache, like, he eventually finds out that, well, first Dogtanian like listens in on his conversation with this guy who's in there with him. And he's talking about how this lady will be here tonight. He accidentally calls him Lord Captain. And so we're like, oh man, this guy's like got some kind of high ranking. And he's like, no, don't mention that. I don't want people to know what's going on or who I am, what my status is. And so Dogtanian's out there and he just goes back to his room after he's kind of almost discovered. And eventually he comes out and just wants to fight him. Like he's found the Black Moustache and he still wants to fight him, not based on anything he's just heard, but just because he called him a country bumpkin. And so he's like, we're going to duel right here in this inn. And the innkeeper's just like, no, why? Why are you doing this?
Like, don't
worry about
inn.
it. If I don't come out of this alive, you can have all my belongings. And he's like, oh, okay, well, that's a different story. Go ahead. And so then they both just show off their apple cutting skills, like he and Black Moustache.
They did spend a lot of time cutting apples before they actually fought, which I was like, come on.
It did make me hungry for apples, and I had some, so I went and got one while I was watching it.
I really need to go to the grocery store.
But yeah, they do their duel, and I guess, Dogtanian's holding his own.
He really is.
For the most part. He's at least, like, keeping him at bay. Like, the Black Moustache isn't beating him as quickly as he thought he would, but he's also not trying too hard, because at the same time, he's like, hey, the lady's about to be here. I got to go. Tells his partner, his servant, I guess, to
squire.
Just take over. His squire to take over, like, here, use this log and, fight him off. And innkeeper, you too. And, like, I think they offer to pay the innkeeper greatly for it or something. He's like, all right. So he's all about the money.
He's like, yeah, I'll beat a child for money. Like, I'm in.
Yeah. He knocked my light down. I'm still mad at that. So he's fighting off now the innkeeper and the squire as they're coming at him with those logs. And we get to see the guy talk to Milady, who at this time is just some mysterious Catwoman with like one of those bandit masks on.
Yeah.
And telling her to go to England and spy on the Duke of Buckingham. This is where it gets kind of like historical, I guess. I mean, I don't know where the story goes exactly in the real book, but talking about where they need to watch the Duke of Buckingham because he might have ulterior plans or something. And Dogtanian like peeks around the corner and sees this. God. And he's like, he's taken aback by the beauty of this masked cat lady who has a hood on. It's like, Dogtanian.
The not so subtle euphemism here where his nose turns red and enlarges. And I'm like, it's probably not the only thing.
Oh, man.
Oh, God. I was like, wow, Goodness. They went for it.
Dogtanian has his sword broken in this battle, too, which is the sword his father gave him.
Like, how?
With the stick. So,
how does a stick break a metal sword?
I don't know. But to add insult to injury, that same sword, the innkeeper uses the broken part of his sword as a spit to cook food on. And it's just like, man, like this innkeeper, like you're kind of a jerk. Because he also, after they knock, okay, so before that, they knock Dogtanian out and then they're just beating him down with these logs.
They beat the crap out of this kid. I mean, they were just beating him. They thought that they beat him to death.
They did. And so the Black Moustache and his squire just like, all right, we'll just like go dispose of his body.
Yeah.
And the innkeeper's like, all right. That's
sweet.
Cool. He does take him and put him in bed, I guess, which is cool, I guess. Because after he sees he's alive, he doesn't like try to finish him off or anything. He does kind of nurse him back to health. But then he's like, all right, well, now you owe me money for your 2 nights in the inn and also me feeding you and the damages you've caused because you said you'd pay for them.
And he stole the money pouch right off the bat.
Yeah, he stole his money pouch, but he told him, he's like, hey, I have your money pouch. And Dogtanian's like, all right, well, you have my money pouch, right? And he's like,
yeah, it's not enough.
Oh, yeah, but it's not enough. Like, I need more. And it's like, God, this guy, like, I felt bad for Dogtanian immediately. This is episode 2, and he's already on such a bad start, off to such a bad start. He's like, all right, well, do you have anything to leave behind as collateral? He's like, I don't know, my horse, I guess. And he's like, okay, that'll work. Like, I'm not taking him from you. He's just mine until you come back with the rest of the money.
Jeez.
Like, jeez, dude. And so now the sad image of Dogtanian walking off with the saddle on his head. Why he still took the saddle with him, I don't know. But he took the saddle, so he's riding off with that, or not riding off. He's walking off with that on his head, and in, I guess, the heat or whatever, with no horse, no money, and he's already used like some of his the ointment his mom gave him to cure his wounds. So it's like, man, this dude, like, he's got a rough road ahead of him.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Like, how many horrible things happened to him in this episode?
In that one episode, the innkeeper just kept getting worse and worse. I thought he was going to have like a redemption story.
No.
He had a reverse redemption story. He got more evil as the thing went on.
Yeah, he basically he turned on the kid. He beat him half to death for money. Then he stole his money, and then he took his horse and kicked him out.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Man.
But to be fair, Dogtanian did break his lights.
So maybe Dogtanian learned a valuable lesson that day.
Yeah.
Never trust an innkeeper.
Yeah, never. Don't swing your sword indoors.
So the last episode we watched for today's show was The Shipwreck, season 1, episode 21. And this one you chose?
Yeah, I just randomly picked it. The idea of a shipwreck sounded fun. I was like, cool, maybe we'll get some seafaring story here. And we kind of did.
Yeah. In this one, the Blue Falcon, after escaping, is continuing his reign of terror on the high seas. Dogtanian, still tired from his last attempt to catch the Falcon, and the Three Musketeers are told to catch him on the Mediterranean and bring him back to France.
So this is very different in that, like, we jumped ahead, like, 19
Way
episodes,
ahead.
I think.
Yeah.
So Dogtanian is with the Musketeers, who are not called Muskehounds in this whatsoever.
He's got Sandy back, so I guess he gave that innkeeper his money.
And they've got the best character of all, which is Pip.
Pip needs to go on your list.
Yeah, he's going to. God, he's this ugly little rat. He's got the the worst voice, and he just he looks and sounds just like straight garbage. Like, this is one of the worst characters I've ever seen.
Yeah, Pip in this is useless to the point of the same way that what's the character's name in the Tom and Jerry and the Wizard of Oz? Remember the mouse?
Was it Tuffy or something like that?
Yeah, Tuffy. You're right. Tuffy is not as annoying, but he's just as pointless as Pip is in this. Because Pip is not part of the original novel either, obviously, or there's no character named Pip or any companion like that. So he's just added for this cartoon. Who knows why? Because he's not adding anything to this.
Yeah, he sucks. He's the worst part of this. If I had to say, like, one thing that is the worst part of the show, it is Pip. Easily Pip. Terrible.
Yeah. And just the 3 episodes we watched, that was definitely my least favorite part.
Yeah,
as much as I enjoyed parts of this episode, Pip's parts were not one of them.
Like, it's weird too, because it looks like you've got Dogtanian and the Musketeers, like, in their clothes, looking nice. They got swords and stuff, and they look like they just pulled this rat out of a sewer and put some clothes on him, and they're like, you are our best friend and companion now. And yeah, he's just sounds like he's been smoking like 11 packs a day. Just so I could smell that rat through the screen. It was disgusting.
He's also a sea rat, and that just makes me think he smells worse. But
it's a sea rat. Yeah.
Well, that's what they call him, a sea rat. So they get on this boat because they're going to sail off to the Mediterranean to catch the Blue Falcon, who is, I guess, this kind of pirate guy or has this pirate crew. This part is where he becomes the most annoying, because as he first appears in this episode, he comes towards the ship singing this pirate song in the worst possible tune, or the worst tone possible, like high-pitched, super annoying. All the characters are disgusted by it, saying they're going to go deaf or something. They're just as horrified as we are.
I love the reactions on their faces. And it just keeps going. Like, it goes for like a good minute of him singing and everybody just reacting to how disgusting this rat is. Like, they're acting like they're seeing the bubonic plague in physical form approach.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awful. And I was like, that was the viewer. That was all the viewer. Like, we were all watching this rad approach and having the same reaction.
Yeah, we were projected on those characters. We also see the Cardinal discussing discussing this musketeer mission with Count Rochefort, who we saw in the earlier episode, Black Moustache, and he is telling him basically, you need to go intercept them, even though it's not sanctioned. Like, you don't have to be sanctioned to do it, so you go do your thing. I know nothing of this, basically.
Yeah, it's basically just like your typical, almost like a privateer kind of thing. It's just like, hey, go do what you would do, but do it for us, please. And, just go cause some havoc.
I mean, they're not villains per se, but they're just warring factions. And instead of the Musketeers capturing the Blue Falcon, like they want to claim the glory for their kingdom. So they're like, okay, we'll just take them out, and then they can't do it. So everyone wins, and they'll be so far out at sea, no one will know you did it. Just follow them and get it done. So that's what the plan is. It's going well enough, and you've got, them following the Musketeer ship, but then this like typhoon hits and just like throws everything out of whack.
Yeah, and we don't actually know what happens. I mean, I'm sure you find out in the next episode, but we don't know what happens to everyone except for Dogtanian and Pip, who, the ships get destroyed. Like, they just get
absolutely
annihilated.
Demolished.
There is, before it happens, though, there is 2 minutes of the ships tossing and turning with every character just going, whoa, whoa, whoa. And it just keeps going and going and going and going.
The ships are destroyed. They're talking about, or the narrator's talking about how Mother Nature is finally appeased and the storm stops.
It's a weird thing to say.
There's nobody to be seen except for, like you said, Dogtanian and Pip. And then this ghost ship starts appearing on the screen, which is pretty cool. I like its first appearance.
Yeah, that was cool. So they're in a lifeboat. Everyone else is gone. Everything else is gone. There's just remnants of the ships. And yeah, this ghost ship comes out. It slams into their lifeboat, but not hard enough. And the ghost ship just literally stops. So they're like, cool. And they climb a ladder that is conveniently right in front of their lifeboat and get on. And there's a long scene of Pip messing with this door that keeps opening and closing by itself. But I was just excited that it was a ghost ship, and I was like, I hope that we are going to get some ghost action. We almost did for a split second, but turns out that it's not really ghost.
I was hoping it was going to be one of those things. It was like they're pretending, but there's also a real ghost on the ship, and it turns into one of those stories.
Great.
But that's not what happened.
I did want to point out that I noticed in this episode especially, but I'm sure it's in some of the other episodes too, there are random instances where you'll see a scene of a character doing something and Dogtanian's holding completely still, and his eyes are drawn just completely crossed. Like, he just looks like an idiot, and it's great.
Well, there's a lot of scenes where there's inconsistencies in the frames. Like, there was one part in this episode that I noticed where Athos was handing Porthos Athos was like holding just a random bottle. It was probably some kind of like alcohol, but they didn't say it was or whatever. But Porthos is like, hey, like, better hand me some of that too, as the storm starts coming up. And he hands it to him, or he grabs it from him, but then it just looks like the bottle is like thrown up in the air out of his hand. And it just looks so strange because it doesn't, like, that's not what happens, obviously. He doesn't just grab the bottle and throw it behind him, but that's what it looks like because that frame just slipped off or something and they didn't bother fixing it.
That's really funny. I love it.
And I think that happens a lot in this show because I noticed it a couple other times where it's just it's that cheap animation, almost like Filmation-esque, but in whatever the Spanish or Japanese equivalent of that is.
Yeah,
just
like
really cheaply made.
Worse than Filmation.
Yeah, so I just wanted to point that out. But what we get to see is Milady, Countess de Winter, that's what it was.
Which is a much cooler name than just Milady. Like, Countess de Winter sounds awesome.
Like, they could have just called her the Countess, and that would have been like, oh, that's cool.
I'm going to name my next dog Countess de Winter. I'm just going to say
Countess
that.
de Winter.
Yes.
I like it.
And then, so it turns out she's on this boat along with what all these ghosts come out, but you can tell it's just dudes in sheets. Turns out it's, cat dudes in sheets. For whatever reason, Dogtanian's not intimidated at all. He's like, you just look like you're doing your laundry. Like, he's ready to fight. Pip, for whatever reason, gets on all fours and starts barking like a dog. I don't know what that's about.
Because that's what scares cats.
I guess.
and it worked, I guess. These
weird.
cats are these cat like mercenaries or whatever they are, just so dumb. Like all they're doing, they're not even attacking. They're just going like rah, rah, like over and even when they don't have the sheets on them. Eventually, they just all get scared off or run off or something. So they're absolutely useless.
Well, they were
except to push the plot along, I guess.
I mean, they were kind of just there as a distraction. Like, I mean, they could have just killed Dogtanian and Pip, and then the job would be done. Instead, they were
they tried to do that anyway.
Yeah, well, instead they were like distracting them, and then like while the Countess starts laying down gunpowder to blow the ship up with them on it, like, and she yells for her guys to retreat, and they do into the lifeboat.
They all steal Dogtanian's lifeboat too.
God,
he just can't catch a break,
again,
man.
His life just sucks. So I'm like, you could have just stabbed them instead of like, you distract him while I blow up this entire ship. But that's what happens. But Dogtanian and Pip survive. They're floating in a barrel.
They're floating away in the barrel as the episode's ending, and they get marooned on a jungle island. That's pretty much it. What I was thinking was going to happen at first was that they just are floating off into nowhere in that barrel, and I was like, I wish they'd ended on just that. I would have been like, oh my gosh, this poor guy. This poor kid who's thrown into this by his father and just has the worst of luck.
I do want to say, though, there was a point in this episode that they could have really made it a lot better, and they could have saved it. That was when we first find Dogtanian and Pip in the lifeboat after the shipwreck. And like Dogtanian, they were both knocked out, and Dogtanian wakes up. And then Pip is like sleepwalking. And he almost walks off of the edge of the lifeboat into the ocean, and Dogtanian saved him. He should have just let him go. That would have solved so many problems. Honestly, that would solve problems for the show in general. If he just let that stupid rat drown.
It would have made it better for us, yeah.
Absolutely.
But Dogtanian needed somebody. Nobody else is on his side.
That's true. I'm not even sure Pip's completely on his side, but, you know.
I don't trust him. He's just going to pull an innkeeper on him.
Exactly. He's just going to beat him to death and steal his money later. Take his barrel.
Well, Chris, it looks like it's about time we send our inner kids to Paris to train with Dogtanian while also petting him on the head when he's been a good musketeer. Then see what they thought of the show, Dogtanian and the Three Muskehounds.
Man, for trying to be a famous musketeer, which I think is the French word for a sword-swingy person, Dogtanian's life just sucks because he keeps getting beaten up or abandoned or lost. And that's okay with me because he's kind of a douche most of the time. And I hope Pip just drowns. End of story. But I gave this cartoon 3 bowls of stick-beat-down cereal out of 5.
While the original story was obviously altered for the sake of becoming an entertaining cartoon for children, I think it does a fine job of condensing the story into episodic tales. Sure, it wasn't perfect, with cheaply done animation and plenty of inconsistencies in the frames, but none of this took away from my enjoyment of the show about a literal underdog overcoming great odds to pursue his true calling. Overall, I'd give Dogtanian and the Three Muskehounds 3.5 big bowls of Country Bumpkin Bites cereal out of 5. I think the show is worth checking out if you can forgive its flaws. Otherwise, I'd be curious to see how the movie reboot turns out.
Let's just hope that movie never gets made. In fact, let's hope that it just goes the route of the live action Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Let's just keep delaying that thing because we don't need it.
Or the current Cats movie.
Oh God, that is a nightmare. Oh God, that looks so bad.
Why do they keep putting human faces on these things? It doesn't look good.
No, that is not good at all. If you guys haven't seen that, look up the trailer for that Cats movie that's coming out because I can guarantee you, you'll never want to buy a cat afterwards. If that's what cats actually look like we would have exterminated them a long time ago.
Oh, and Idris Elba, how could you?
I know.
How could you?
That's what I thought. I was like, why? Why did you fall for it?
They must have been paying these people like crazy money for them to agree to some of these things.
They're like, have you seen how this movie's going to look? We need to get some star power. So, let's get Idris Elba.
That's going to save it.
That's not going to work at all. But do you have any closing comments on Dogtanian and the Three Muskehounds?
Yeah, I mean, I know we weren't looking forward to it, and it wasn't like fantastic or anything, but it was acceptable. It was fine. The only part that bothered me was Pip. If he hadn't been in it at all, I think I could have like totally gotten through it and been like, yeah, that was fine, and probably given it an extra 0.5 or even an extra point. I don't know. But he really was a detractor in that last episode because of just how annoying and just out of place he was in some of those scenes. And it makes sense that he would seem out of place if he's like forced into this story where he didn't belong in the first place. Overall, though, the first 2 episodes I really did enjoy, and I thought it was going in a really good direction. It's okay. Like, don't go out of your way to find it, but if you run into it sometime, like, it's not that bad.
I kind of went the opposite route as you, and I enjoyed, aside from Pip, I enjoyed that 3rd episode. I thought it was kind of cool, and I liked Dogtanian in that episode. Whereas the first 2 episodes, I really didn't like Dogtanian at all. I think the show struggles a little bit. I mean, for me, it struggled a little bit in the beginning because he's a little bit unlikable, sort of like Ash in Pokemon. I assume that he matures and grows because of that last episode we watched. He wasn't as obnoxious as I felt he was in the first 2, but I definitely was not a fan of the first 2 episodes because of that. And then Pip kind of took his place in the 3rd one. So I don't know. I do like that the show doesn't shy away from danger. I mean, he gets like beat down so hard in that 2nd episode. It went just so much further than I thought. And I did really appreciate the message that his dad was giving him about the sword not being a toy. So overall, you know, it was decent. It had my interest, but it didn't have it enough that I would want to watch any more of it.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I'm not going to watch any more of this series, but if I do happen to run into the movie that comes out and it looks okay, I might check it out.
Good luck.
But yeah, I mean, I can see where you're coming from. He was kind of annoying in the first couple episodes, but I'm looking at it as a start to his journey of, you know, growth and maturity. And so it's like, I would expect him to be that way in these first episodes. Like, I don't want him to start out as just some perfect hero, you know, going on his journey, because then what has he got to really learn? So
it's true.
I think it started in a good way, unless he stays like that throughout. But like you said, on the episode that we watched, 21, he was more mature and he was making more rational decisions. So I think that he was moving in a good direction. And then it's 10 years later in the next season, which I'm assuming he's got a lot more maturity at that point. So,
I mean, if he's still alive, because I mean, the lifespan of a dog isn't super long. So,
but either way, like it was all right. Like I didn't mind it as much as I thought I would just hearing the title of it before.
Yeah. So thanks, Andrew, for suggesting this. I'm glad that we saw it to know that I don't want to see it again. And I wouldn't know about the live action one if we hadn't done this. And how bad that's probably going to be.
Well, I didn't say live action. I said CG.
The CG, yeah. I mean, it's you know, you call the Lion King, the new Lion King live action, even though it's the same. It's all CG. Like nothing's real anymore, Joseph. Everything's fake.
True, but the Lupin the Third CG movie that's coming out looks amazing. Ooh. If you haven't seen the trailer for that.
I have not, but I love the show.
That is how CG should be done. I'm gonna leave it at that because we're not talking about Lupin the Third here. But just if you haven't seen that trailer, go watch it. So yeah, thank you, Andrew, for suggesting it. I did actually enjoy it, and I'm curious to catch some of the follow-ups.
And we do have one 5-star review from Apple Podcasts. Again, it's no longer iTunes, everyone. Don't call it iTunes. It's Apple. Apple Podcast review. This is 5-star from Jen R. Tiffany. Are you saying you are Tiffany? You're a Jen who is actually a Tiffany? Jen R. Tiffany? I don't know.
Jen R. Tiffany.
Jen R. Tiffany.
Oh, wow.
I made it.
She just gave us a 5-star.
I know. I love you, Jen R. Tiffany. Whichever one of you. I don't know.
Whichever one you are.
She says, love these. Hope we have community here too. With no spaces in that. All one word. Hope we have community here too. I don't know what that means.
I mean, thank you. It's 5 stars.
Yeah, so thanks. I think. But
I hope we have community here too.
Me 3. You know. So thanks a lot, Jen or Tiffany or whoever you are. We appreciate it. We appreciate it a lot.
Yeah. Well, listeners, looks like our milk supply is now run dry, so it's time for us to say goodbye. Next week, we'll be watching
Hilda, suggested via Twitch by Kavina Avfara and Nickel Force.
Oh man, Hilda's so cool.
I've heard a lot of things about it. I've seen just images of the show, and I think it looks gorgeous. And it comes with high regard from both Kavina and Nickel Force from the Nerd Sloth Twitch streams. So yeah, I'm excited to get into this one.
Calling it right now. I'm pretty sure you're gonna like it.
Okay, you've seen it?
I've seen parts of it, so maybe whatever episodes we end up watching, I might not have seen yet. But I've at least seen the first few episodes.
What if I only like parts of it, Joseph?
No,
okay.
I'm calling it. You're gonna like all of it.
All right, sounds good. We'll just next episode you'll just hear our 5-star review. There you go.
Pretty much. Well, we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see. Once again, I'm Joseph,
and I'm Chris,
and we'll see you next Saturday.
Presented by Nerd Sloth,
a place for lazy nerds.
If you like what you heard, consider donating at patreon.com/nerdsloth so we can continue bringing you quality shows. Be sure to also leave us a review and share your favorite episodes and clips on social media. If you're looking for more content, visit us at nerdsloth.com.